Yeah, so we didn't talk about this earlier in the week, but I was the head coach of the Maroon team. And so we'll take that as a win, and we'll go 1-0 on my official record here at Texas A&M. No, it was a good day. It was a great crowd, great turnout. Appreciate all the supporters for coming out, braving the weather. We knew it was at some point going to start raining. You know, we were glad we got a pretty clean first half and at least be able to get some snaps going in the second half. We kind of ran the clock a little quicker than we wanted to, just because of how that storm started coming in and the wind was blowing. But yeah, I thought it was a good day. I thought it was good to see our guys go out there, get on that field and compete. You know, we made some plays. We didn't make some plays. You know, a lot of it is mix and matching two units together, so it's hard to you know, make a lot of judgments on what happened out there today. But it was just good to see the guys have some fun, compete, play with some good energy. I thought the spirits were really high on the sideline. Just a lot of good, positive things around our program right now. And so from there, I'll open it up to questions.
Questions to the second row right, David.
Nick Scorton jumps off the field when you watch him play. In the short time you've seen him, what's something that stands out about him beyond what we just saw today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think when we line up Nick Scorton on one side and Shamar Stewart on the other, I think we have the best defensive end combo that we've had here in a long time. And then you start talking about some of the other pieces and what Cassius Howell brings to the table and what Ryland Kennedy brings to the table and what Malik Silla will bring to the table. And you have a lot of talent at that position right now. And then, you know, when you just talk specifically about Nick, it's what you get when you get an older veteran player. You know, he led the Big Ten in sacks last year. That doesn't happen by accident. He's played a lot of football. He knows how to go about his business. He's got, you know, a really strong repertoire of pass rushing games. I think we've done a really good job of kind of elevating him. He was kind of stood on his feet a lot at Purdue. We got him in a stance a lot more this spring just to kind of get him adjusted and the comfort to that. And he'll do a little bit of both of that for us come fall. And I think he's a really talented football player, obviously.
Second row right, Carter, and then Olin.
You guys only had one pre-snap penalty today, 5 overall. Just how impressed were you by how clean the operation was and kind of the execution of getting lined up and everything?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously something that's really important. And I think we talk to our guys about, you know, it's not just getting lined up before the play gets snapped. Like, we've got to get a tempo about us so we can get lined up, see the defense, see what we're looking at. You know, I think we've made a lot of strides. I think when we talked about getting a lot better from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, a lot of it was that. It was that operational tempo. And it was good to see that. I think we kind of maybe started a little sluggish both sides, and I thought it really picked up, especially for the Maroon team, in terms of doing that. And then, you know, listen, you can't win football games if you're going backwards on offense, right? And so pre-snap penalties, negative runs, negative sacks, those things are drive killers, and you don't get that many drives, and the margins aren't that large to be doing that. And so, yeah, we never want to be a team that beats ourselves, and I think that was a good step today for that.
Second row right, Olin, then Brent.
Yeah, Mike, I don't want to overreact too much to what happened in the spring game, but from what you've seen today and through the spring, has Noah Thomas progressed to the point where, for lack of a better way to put it, that he could legitimately be a number 1 option as a receiver?
Yeah, I think he has, you know, tremendous size. He has a very large catch radius. I think he's gotten healthy. You know, he had some off-season stuff that he was dealing with towards the end of the year last year, and he's getting healthier. He got healthier as spring went on. I think it's going to be really important for him to have a really strong summer. I think if he can develop some strength, you know, and get his body where it can possibly be, yeah, I think he has all the makings of being a guy that we can use as a top target.
Down front, Brent, and then Travis.
Got a new punter, 7 punts for average 47 yards on the punts. Just how Tyler White did.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Tyler White's had a really strong spring for us. I thought he's really established himself as the number 1 guy at punter. You know, we're really happy with the way he's changed his operation and some of his footwork stuff to get the ball off faster. That was one of the things we really emphasized with him. And you know, punting the football can be a weapon, right? Winning field position, a lot of hidden yards involved in that. And so net punt is a critical piece of what you have to win football games. And yeah, he's had a really, really strong spring for us.
How are you feeling about your running back room? Moss and Owens having a good day as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you put those 3 together, I think Amari got kind of nicked up again. He's been dealing with a little bit of a bang on his shoulder for most of the spring, and so he got nicked up early. But I think those 3 kids are talented SEC backs, and I think, you know, they all bring something a little bit different to the table. They all have some things they need to work on to become complete backs. I think they'll all complement each other really, really well. Ruben obviously showed some athleticism on the breakout run, and he's got a really good job catching the ball coming out of the backfield. And I think Le'Veon just has a really good feel for being a running back. He's really a complete back and does a lot of things really well. And then Amari's been a really productive ball carrier for us, and so I think it's a good group.
Front right, Travis, and then Mark.
You've mentioned spring game a lot is for the players as a reward, but what is it like for you? And is there ever any nerves from a head coach just to kind of get to finally showcase what y'all have been doing?
Yeah, I think, the nerves are you just want the product to look good, right? You want, your fan base is coming out to support you, to watch you. They take time and effort to come into this stadium. You want to reward them with something they can walk away proud of, and I hope they saw that today, and I hope that's what they walked away with. You spent a lot of time on the field this spring. You'd like it to culminate in something that looks like we've been out for 4 weeks, and so I think it did that. I was confident that that would be the case, and so I don't know how nervous I was. And it is, it's the one time of year where you can go out in the field and really be a little bit relaxed, have some fun with the guys. You're not quite as invested in the results that are going on in the field. You just want them to go out and have fun and make some plays, and they were able to do that.
And from your position, what are you kind of looking at? I know you can't see everything until you see the film, but from a player perspective and from a assistant perspective, what are the few things you're keying in on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is operation. The biggest thing you want is, how are we getting plays, calls in and out both sides? How are we getting substitutions in and out both sides? What is the communication like on the field, specifically on defense, right? Are we communicating the things that need to get communicated for us to have success? And then kind of offensively, are we moving at the pace and the tempo that we want to move at? And a lot of that is on the quarterback. And so I spent a lot of time kind of behind the quarterback talking him through some things. And but yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is you just want the operation of how we're going to call a game to go the right way. Obviously, we're not game planning. The maroon team didn't game plan the white team, and so you don't have that added element of it. You're not talking about like what you're seeing or anything like that, but you really want the operation of your organization to work the right way.
To the left, Mark, and then Cole.
We had a couple big plays in the passing game today, but for the most part, it looks like the secondary had a really good day. Nobody's running free or anything like that. Kind of your observations on what you saw today and, camp in general.
Yeah, I think we have added a lot of valuable pieces to that group, and I think it was well documented that was something that needed to happen. I think, I think we've added some really talented kids that can cover on the outside. I think there's still some pieces that weren't there today that I think can add a lot of value too. And so, and I think the thing I've probably been most pleased about in the secondary is I'm really happy with how the safeties have played. I think we have 3, maybe 4 legitimate safeties that can play football in this conference, and that's for the way we want to play defense. That's something that's really, really important, and so we're excited about where that group is.
Front right, Cole, and then we'll finish up with Ben in the back.
Coach, it's just the spring, so don't want to put too much detail into it, but just how did you feel about both Marcel and Jalen, how they played compared to Connor?
Yeah, we're certainly not going to put any detail into that. I've said this up here a bunch. I'm happy that we have 3 quarterbacks. There's not a lot of programs across the country that have 3 kids that can go out there and operate an offense effectively right now. With the way people are shifting and moving and going all over the place, it's a luxury to have 3 kids who have had very productive college football games on your roster, right? And hopefully we can continue to do that and get into the fall the same way. But I think we've evaluated a very large, group of plays over the course of spring, for lack of a better way of saying that. But I think that's what the evaluation is at quarterback more than just the spring game.
And then when you look at the current status, the transfer portal being open for the second wave, do you have kind of a timeline about when you believe that players are going to start entering, and then do you want to have a roster finalized before a certain date?
No, I don't think the date part of it isn't on us. The date part of it's on the kids out there and the kids in our locker room. We'll have exit interviews next week. We'll kind of where everybody's at with that. Again, I think for the most part, our program is in a really good, positive space right now. But again, you don't know who doesn't feel like their path to playing is right, and that's ultimately what the spring portal will always be about if you're doing things the right way. Some kid's going to just not feel like he's got a clear path to doing what he's wanted to do. I think we've seen that already. start to happen in our locker room, and I'm sure there'll be a little bit more of that. It's happening all over the country right now, and and then we have to be active on our end to make sure that we build the 85-man roster the way it needs to be built for us to go out and have the success we want to in the fall.
Ben, you'll wrap us up in the back?
Coach, what do you feel like are the biggest areas of clarity that you've have with this team compared to beginning of spring practice, things y'all were hoping to learn, and where maybe some areas you're still trying to figure things out?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're still trying to figure everything out. I think what spring was really about for us was building a foundation, and that's what we just talked about in the locker room. I think if you look at where this program was walking off the field at the Texas Bowl to where this program is now today, I think our kids deserve a lot of credit for how they've righted a ship and started steering this program back in the right direction. I think it's obviously been an extremely tumultuous offseason, right? Between not having the season they wanted to have, switching head coaches, transfer, all this new stuff going in, kids in and out of the portal, a lot of new guys coming in, a lot of guys going out, right? It's been about as rocky an offseason as you could want to have, and I think we've done a really good job within our locker room culture of studying all of that and then putting this program back on a path to where we all want it to go. And now the challenge is the next 118 days. The next 118 days will play a role in where we go between now and the start of fall camp. We got a lot of things that we have to do as a program to be able to play football at the level we need to win at the level we want to. And that's, that's what this is all about from a football standpoint is, can we continue to grow so that when we get to fall camp, we're a team that looks 3.5 months better. And if we do that, then I think we'll have a shot to do something really, really special this fall. But that'll be determined over the next 3.5 months.
Thanks for your time, Coach.